After years of playing this sport, studying the game non-stop, and playing the best players in the world, I finally realized there's one skill that separates players who win from players who constantly struggle. It's not power, it's not hands, and it's not technique. The #1 separator in pickleball is decision making. Every point is really just a string of tiny decisions, and if you get those decisions right, the whole game opens up. Get them wrong, and everything becomes an uphill battle. So in this video, we're going through the most important decisions you'll have to make and exactly how to think about them. This is going to increase your chances of winning immediately. And to help me break this down, I brought two absolute legends, Hunter Johnson, the #1 singles player in the world, and Yates Johnson, a top 15 beast and one of the smartest minds in the game. Let's get into it. Real quick, over the past year, I've been building something I'm extremely proud of called the Pickleball Collective. It's an online community where you're going to get real frameworks that show you how to go from an amateur to a high-level player. It's the stuff nobody has ever taught online, and it will completely change the way you see the game. I genuinely believe it's one of the best investments you can make in your pickleball development. And on top of that, you'll never feel stuck again because any questions you have, you can ask me directly and you'll have access to other pros like Hunter and Yates Johnson inside the community. Click the link in the description to join us. Now let's get back into it.
The first decision you need to make is where and how to serve. When you step up to the line to serve, you immediately have a chance to gain an advantage. But most players throw that away because they don't actually think about where or how they're serving. And in pickleball, you have a lot of options. You can serve flat, spinny, short, deep, wide, or straight at the body. So how do you make the right decision? Something this simple can give you a massive edge over the course of a match, and it all starts before the ball even crosses the net. The first thing you want to look at when deciding where and how to serve is based off where your opponent is standing. If he's off the court, that means he's hiding his weakness. That's free information for us. So I can either choose to attack his weakness, or I can go right down the middle and push him to give a weaker return. The second thing I want to look at is to check how close they're standing to the baseline. So if they're standing right on the line, I want to hit a more aggressive, heavy, spinnier ball. If they're back, I want to hit a lower, harder ball, so that way they have to hit up and come get the ball, hit a weaker return. So this is the heavier serve when they're standing right on the line. If they're standing back, I want to hit through, hard, and low. The last thing is, who on your team do you want to hit the third shot?
So basically, if Hunter hits that serve wide to Yates's forehand, and we want me to hit that third shot, well then that ball's probably gonna come to me because it's gonna be hard for Yates to take that ball that's out to his forehand and redirect it cross court. And vice versa. If I want Hunter to hit this third shot, well then Hunter can hit a hard serve down the middle to his backhand, and if he catches it late, it's coming to Hunter, and his odds of getting that ball to me, if Hunter hits a good serve, are low. So this is what it will look like if he hits to his forehand. Let's say we want me to hit the third shot. That return comes to me, and then if I want Hunter to hit this third shot, well then he serves hard to this backhand here. And the ball redirects to Hunter. So you can basically use your serve to choose which one of your partners hits the third shot.
After the serve goes in and the return comes back, either you or your partner has to make one of the most common decisions in pickleball. Do we drive or do we drop it? This single choice completely shapes how the point develops. Against some teams, driving is the obvious play. Against others, it's the worst thing you can do. But let me show you exactly how to make the right decision. When deciding whether to drive or drop, it all depends on the quality of the return. If the return is high and slower, that's a green light to drive the ball. If it's lower and faster, then I'm gonna drop it and be a little bit more defensive. So here, it's a little slower and higher, and I have a lot more time. If it's lower and more aggressive, then I'm gonna drop and come in. The next thing you wanna think about is what team are you playing? If my opponents have really good hands, then I'm probably gonna wanna drop and get to the kitchen line and expose their dinks and soft game. And on the opposite end, if they have bad hands and they're better at dinking, then I probably want to drive the ball and be a little bit more aggressive and pressure them and try to force an error.
After your partner hits their drive or drop and you both start moving forwards, you sometimes have the option to poach, which means crossing into your partner's side to cut off the next ball. When this is done correctly, it creates huge pressure and can force a ton of mistakes from your opponent. But when it's done wrong, you'll give away free points and get burned over and over again. So here are some keys to help you make that decision the right way. So how do I know whether I poach or I stay home? So he serves the ball, Hunter returns it, he hits the third shot, and then I'm looking to take the next one and try and poach and take this ball. Or I could just stay home, which would be stay in my lane and focus on getting in the kitchen. Well, the first thing you need to think about is, where did my partner hit the shot? So let's say Yates hits that ball cross court. Well, then I need to stay home and protect my line. But if Yates hits that ball down the line, well, then I can look to cross because I don't need to protect this part as much anymore, because if he does hit it here, well, I'm gonna have time to react over there. So we need to focus on where he hits that third shot. So we'll do a little demo here. Yates went down the line with that ball, so I'm able to pinch middle, and hopefully before the point starts, I'll know he's going there because we have communicated that. But if he were to go back to Hunter, well, then I need to still cover my line. So the second thing when deciding whether to poach or not is I have to evaluate my partner's third shot and how high it was. If he gives Duke a high third shot, well, then Duke can burn me this way, or he can attack down the line. So I don't want to look for that high ball. But if Yates gets that ball down like this, well, then I can cross because Duke has to hit that ball up. So therefore, he can't burn me down the line. And he's probably going to have to hit this ball in the kitchen if he doesn't want me to take that ball high out of the air. So it's a really good thing to evaluate your partner shot before committing to that ball. And then the last thing is I want to pinch a little bit. And what I mean by pinching is kind of getting close to this middle line and putting pressure on this person right here. Because if I'm evaluating his shot and I'm standing right here, I then am able to make that quick decision of, do I want to continue and go cross court? Or if that ball is not good enough, I can stay home here. So when he's about to hit the shot, I'm leaning forward and I'm pinching middle a little bit. And once I evaluate Yates' shot, his third shot, then I can decide, okay, do I want to stay home or do I want to cross and take that ball out of the air?
One of the most common bad decisions players make is not knowing when to hit an aggressive dink versus a defensive dink. If you hit a defensive dink when you've got the perfect ball to move your opponent around, you're missing huge opportunities. If you try to hit an aggressive dink when you're off balance and need to reset, you're going to lose a lot of points. So let me show you how to understand the flow of the dink rally better so you can make smarter decisions. So the first thing I'm thinking about is, what ball am I receiving from my opponent? So if I'm dinking with Roscoe here and he's being aggressive, I'm just trying to neutralize and dead dink the ball. On the other hand, if he's hitting the ball a little bit slower and higher, I can push him around the court more and be aggressive. The second thing I'm thinking about is, what body position do I have? So if he's pushing me around the court and I'm in a defensive position with my body, I want to give a defensive ball back. On the other hand, if he's giving me dead dinks and I'm in good position, I can push him around the court and hit more aggressive dinks to try to gain control in the rally.
When you're at the kitchen line and trying to decide whether to dink one more ball or go for the attack, that's one of the toughest decisions players make, and one of the most common mistakes people make. Some players attack balls they should never speed up, and others miss perfect opportunities to apply pressure. So here's how to evaluate this moment and choose the right option. When I'm deciding whether I want to attack or dink, it all depends on the quality of the ball. So if I'm hitting with Roscoe here, I'm waiting for a little higher ball with a lot of margin, where I have a little bit more room to speed up. If it's a little bit lower, then I want to keep dinking because it's a low percentage shot to try to go for a ball if it's low. So quality of the ball and margin is what we're trying to look for here. So second thing here is, are you in a good position to start a hands battle? If you're off balance, then you probably don't want to do that. If you're balanced and have your legs behind you, that's when you want to pull the trigger. So if I'm dinking here with Roscoe, I want to try to pick the right ball to speed up. If it's out wide and I speed up, I'm not in a good position, right? If I'm hitting good dinks and I get my legs there and I'm balanced, that's when you want to pull the trigger, because you're then ready for a hands battle and to follow up that next speed up.
When someone is about to attack the ball at you, you have a split-second decision to make. Do you protect the middle or do you protect the line? This can be a really tricky one, and it's one of the biggest reasons that partners get frustrated with each other, because one person covered the wrong shot. But there are a few simple factors that tell you exactly what you need to cover, so let me show you how to make that right decision every time. All right, the decision we have to make is, do we cover middle or do we cover line? And so the first thing you have to ask yourself is, where's that attack coming from? If the attack's coming across from me here, well then I'm gonna cover middle because Yates has to cover the line. If the attack's coming from in front of me here, well then I'm gonna cover line and body, and Yates is gonna cover middle. So if I feed the ball to Duke here, he attacks, it's my job to cover that middle and Yates' job to slide. And if the attack comes from in front of me here, it's my job to cover the line and Yates covers the middle. Decision making is the #1 skill that can immediately fix your game. It will help you swing matches, get more wins, and make everything feel easier on the court because you're finally gonna be in the right positions. If you want to keep improving and learn how to truly understand the game at the high level, you need to join the Pickleball Collective. Inside, you'll get lessons, frameworks, and a full course about how to see the game differently. It's the stuff no one else teaches. Plus, you'll get access to me and other top pros like Hunter and Yates, so you can ask your questions to us directly and we can give you those answers to help you reach your goals. And right now, it's the lowest price that it will ever be, so click the link in the description. We'll see you inside.